we fall asleep every single night, and then we get this crash course and this education into things that we might be rejecting, scenarios that we might need to revisit, that through the revisitation of them create a level of healing for us. These are insights that are deeply big catalysts in moving forward and working through limiting thoughts, beliefs, take a lesson from them, because everything we create in our dreams has some meaning. Hey you, welcome to Create to Liberate. I'm your host, Anissa. Today's video is about analyzing our dreams. So for many of us, we go to sleep and we wake up in the morning and we completely forget what was happening in our dreaming state, but our dreams have so much value. I have come to really deeply appreciate my dream states, and do I appreciate them more than the waking world? They're equally important this day and age for me, and I want to explain why that is, and I want to support others who are interested in learning more about their unconscious and subconscious, that are interested in the divine angelic world, that are interested in any level of getting value in their waking life that is coming from a healed, more integrated state. If you're like me and you're really interested in your behavior and your psychology, then this will support you. I'm gonna first take you through why dreams are important, then personal dreams that I've been having post Kundalini awakening that have really supported me in understanding why dreams are so valuable, and then maybe share some personal dream experiences from recent that have highlighted to me why I wanted to share this video with you today, and ways that you can continue to reach your more expanded, expressed, most liberated version of self by also tuning into what's going on in this fantasy world that we call dreams. I share wisdom from my lived personal experience, as I believe we are all each other's mirrors. We provide a mirror to each other to be able to see ourselves more clearly. So if anything I share with you resonates with you, amazing. Take what you need and leave the rest. As always, if you're listening on audio, write a review, even if it's 5 stars or thumbs up or something even small. It really help this podcast grow, reach more people, be shareable. And if you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get into it. Why are dreams so important? I became interested in my dreams probably 5-10 years ago more deeply. I read The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, and she really encourages you to go about the practice of morning pages. So The Artist's Way is a book I'll constantly reference because it really helps us tune into our senses, tune into all of the small moments of beauty in the world that help us dive deeper into our creative artistic selves by becoming more present, ultimately by tuning into our senses. And one practice that she encourages is morning pages. So immediately after you wake up, going to write about anything. Just allow yourself to freely think and free write. In that process, you'll tend to write about things that you dreamt about if you immediately wake up and start writing. That's what my default has always been, to really recount what I was dreaming about. And creatively, I can build off of those dream states and turn that into film scripts, which I have, turn that into poems, turn that into other mediums of art and expression. But I also have found that in the dreams themselves, they've been providing me with information into my subconscious and unconscious. And that's information that would have taken so long to get to if I was sitting just in talk therapy, for instance. These are insights that are deeply big catalysts in moving forward and working through limiting thoughts, beliefs, histories that are not supporting me and my well-being and moving forward. And so the more that I tuned into, whoa, some of these themes that are arising from my dream really reflect my waking world. How can I take a lesson from them? Because everything we create in our dreams has some meaning. And some people don't believe that. This is my personal belief, and we'll move forward with that. As I continue to do more dream journaling, I found that people that I was villainizing in dreams, for instance, showed me shadow aspects of myself that I found to be unlikable. So anything that we reject in other people provides to us a mirror of what we might be rejecting within ourselves. And so if you see this person, you're like, oh, they're so superficial and materialistic and they only care about their money and the external things. Maybe that's a side of yourself that you are not honoring. Therefore, you find it particularly grotesque in other people, versus having a level of neutrality and being like, they appreciate more material worldly objects. I appreciate more simplistic things that work within my financial budget type things. That's why I do what I do. And you don't feel a level of unrest when you see somebody acting in a way that is true to them. You don't compare yourself to people. You feel a level of sovereignty and honoring of your true values and your power. And so you're less likely to be triggered by things outside of us, external to you. So dreams are really helpful because we fall asleep every single night and then we get this crash course and this education into things that we might be rejecting, scenarios that we might need to revisit, that through the revisitation of them create a level of healing for us. In the more divination world, we believe that there are the presence of our angels and our spirit guides and our ancestors providing us guidance and moving forward in a way that will support our healing, that will help end some generational difficulties, issues, curses, one would say. But I believe it to be more patterns. So you get to be a really fun person in this lifetime to really break some ancestral patterns that haven't been supporting your family and lineage. And that's really exciting. In these dreams, you can find scenarios also. When I get into the specifics of some of my dreams, then you'll see some of these patterns and why I think this is particularly relevant to us right now, here now. But there are certain patterns that we've been reliving in our conscious awakened life that are not supporting our well-being. So you might be continually dating the same absentee type person, maybe constantly dating avoidant partners, for instance, and you don't understand fully why. Well, you get to get a glimpse into all these scenarios as to why you revisit this pattern in your waking dating romantic life. And as it pertains to career, there are going to be other scenarios where you feel like inadequacy and you have these dreams where you're super self-conscious in these public settings, and you can kind of notice how that you that's in the dream that you've created is struggling, and you in your waking life can have that awareness in those areas where you're not your strongest to have more compassion and double down on how much love you give to yourself. So our dream space is a beautiful space, and hopefully you're sleeping deeply enough. You're getting a deep 8+ hours of sleep each night so that you can experience those dream states. And then you get into the routine of additionally adding in morning pages for reflection immediately when you wake up in the morning so that you can capture those dreams and go about analyzing them. You can also make it really important to eliminate any electromagnetic fields that might be disrupting our ability to sleep deeply. So I like to unplug my Wi-Fi at night. It helps ensure that I have less electromagnetic fields maybe in my space. I try to make sure that my phone is in the other room, and just certain procedures to make sure that I am ensuring a quieter sleep space for myself. I also do a wind down nighttime ritual, which I recommend to others, which is really winding down a few hours before you actually go to bed. And that means dimming lights in your home because we are very sensitive to blue light. We're also ideally working with our circadian rhythm. So waking up with the sun and going to sleep with the sun. I think very few of us are doing this unless you're a farmer at this point. But if you can get a little bit more into a practice of leaning towards a routine that supports something more alike to that. So I'll even put on a little bit of red light in the evening and do my rituals of stretching and yoga and meditation before going into bed. Nervous system wind down so I can really enter that parasympathetic rest response, rest and digest. Pride myself on how well I sleep. That's one of my flexes these days. It's like I sleep incredibly well. So dreams, the importance of dreams in honestly allowing us to do this deep level of spiritual ascension that many of us have access to. I deeply emphasize meditation all the time, and this is another way into your unconscious, subconscious limiting beliefs that might support you in breaking patterns in your waking world in a way that meditation allows you to, once you get to a certain level of ascension and you're having direct communication with the divine. But in most meditation practice, that's really supportive as well. It will be focusing on calming, grounding, being in the present moment. In going through my Kundalini awakening, my dreams became a huge part of the healing modality that I use to go about unblocking my chakras and allowing a level of purification and healing of my energy body and my human body. When people are going through an initiation into the underworld or being invited to explore their dreams more deeply, you might have symbolism in your dreams that is more pronounced than ever. So my experience when seeing snakes, for instance, and the symbolism that the snakes provided helped guide me into the marrying of my unconscious and subconscious with my conscious mind. And so that's a lot of the benefits of the Kundalini awakening, is that you are gaining access to things that would have taken so much time to do excavation around in your mind. So patterns, limiting beliefs, like I said, traumas, things that are not supporting us and moving forward in a really healed, expansive way. And so some of the beauty of this is that you get a spiritual intervention into really paying attention, deep attention to what's going on in your mind, what things are supporting you, what things are not supporting you. For those who are freaked out by this, I know in the Bible, snakes come up as a evil creature. I don't think that there is evil, period. I think there's darker energies and there's lighter energies. And I could see how snakes can be interpreted as a darker energy, but I think it's all the parts of ourselves that we reject that feel serpent like. And ultimately, once you make peace and start to love that side of yourself, then it becomes more integrated and everything feels more neutral. So, with this first wave of going through my Kundalini awakening, in 2023, in the summer of 2023, I experienced the snake appearing in my dream in a way that was biting one of my arms. I think it was my right arm at the time. And that dream analysis, I immediately looked up after it was post meditation retreat, and it said that I was having a difficulty surrendering, releasing control. So I was fighting with the serpent. And then the graduation from that in a future dream was that the snake, black snake and white snake, were coiled around my waist and they're spinning in opposite directions. And in these dreams, what's different about these types of dreams where it's a little bit more of a spiritual intervention versus a dream that's a little bit more neutral is these spiritual intervention dreams will have these animals that you just can't escape. So if I try to like pull the snakes off of me, they'll return. There's a beauty, especially to the snake experiences. I've had snakes appear as snakes in the grass, and that means, don't move towards the direction of these types of relationships or people. I've had snakes appear where they're, coiling onto me, and they are redirective, and it comes in a shadowy way, but it's really powerful. When it came to the marrying of my unconscious and my conscious mind, when it came to the black and white snake that were wrapped around me, that was the beginning of really the marrying of dream state and waking world and the fluidity between those two. And so as my Kundalini awakening progressed, I was working through a lot of healing masculine energy, for instance, and I would have dreams of different masculine energy figures in my life. Some of my dreams pertain to relationships in high school that I totally thought were unimportant. And I was like, oh, I moved on. The body keeps the score. And I think the beauty of our dream state is that we get insight into the ways that our body is more truthful sometimes than our mind. The ways that we say, oh, it's totally fine, I'm so chill. And then you're harboring resentment, you're harboring negativity, you're harboring a lack of closure towards certain people, experiences in your life. And even in your conscious mind, if you make up a story and you're lying to yourself, your unconscious isn't believing that story, nor is your subconscious, nor is your body. And so learning to get more comfortable with all of the truth tellers being in unison allows us to move forward in the world in a really powerful, expanded way. So I'll give one specific example of a dream from this week that can help you understand why moving forward in this way is helpful. So I had a friend in high school who is one of my best guy friends. He was a friend from middle school, actually into high school, and he had a lot of feminine energy in his life, and I was one of many female friends in his life. He was surrounded by an abundance of feminine energy and maybe didn't value it so much. And I knew that I really cared about this friend of mine, but I wanted them simultaneously to have strong masculine energy friends as well. I wanted them to be with the cool guys. And so there was an inflection point basically in our relationship where he wanted to hang out with the cool kids. And I was like, yeah, you should totally hang out with them. I love that for you. I love you spending time with all of these guys. I love that. And I knew already in my mind that I was going to lose him as a friend, that he was going to become absorbed in this new friend group, and that was going to be the end of our friendship. And it became the case. And even though in my mind I was like, this is so chill, I love that he's expanding into new friends, in my heart I would definitely experience a level of abandonment and heartbreak in that relationship. And I hadn't thought about it, I swear to you, for like 12 years. I haven't thought about that person in that relationship in that way. If I thought about that person, I'd be like, oh, I hope they're doing well. Because we can tell ourselves stories as to the way that we want to feel, but they're not necessarily honoring the truth. And if we skip over the emotion of grieving the loss of a friendship, for instance, then you'll experience, like me, 15 years later, having these revisitations of these relationships and being like, wow, I was actually deeply sad and grieving of the loss of that friendship. And I didn't allow myself the space back then to feel sadness for it. But now here in the present, I can honor that I've lost that friend and it's okay. And I wish them well and I send them love. And by doing that, what I'm doing is clearing space in my heart. So a lot of the masculine energy healing that I've done this year has been clearing space in my heart, allowing myself to send love to men that have hurt me, men that have not appreciated me, relationships that I had that disappointed me for whatever reasons. And I didn't allow myself that level of grieving. And 1.0 Anissa, and so now 2.0 Anissa has to feel all the feelings that she blocked from herself. And by feeling the feelings and actually emotionally working through those feelings, you might find it very taxing, very tiring, but on the other side of that, what you'll also experience is more heart openness. That's unblocking in my heart chakra, and I've gone through pretty much all the parts of my body and allowed myself a level of more expansion and more healing than ever before. Also a deep level of inner peace. And I wish that for all people. And that's why I share this with you, because though many of us feel like, oh, it'd be cool to just like feel peace, you don't necessarily feel up for the work that comes with feeling that peace, which is feeling the shadow parts, feeling the darker emotions. But whatever happens in your dreams, whether it's the symbolism of waves and water, that's a huge one that you can easily look up online. When there's a huge tsunami wave, it's like overwhelm, fear of this massive emotion coming our way and the debilitating feeling of that. So it might show you some major fears that might be surfacing in your life versus if there's kind of water in a purifying way and what that symbolism means. So definitely tune into things such as water, such as animals, any symbols that you feel are pronounced to you, any kind of archetypes that you can pull out is deeply valuable. If somebody's the enemy, the friend, the lover, all of these types of archetypes have some value and meaning to us. If that's your lover, what kind of qualities do they embody that you seem to be attracted to? That's probably something that you would want in your preferred partner. So really learning about yourself through your dreams is valuable. You are doing self-analysis in this time. You're self-therapizing through this time. And I do believe that you can take this and work with a therapist to really work through what is some of the symbolism, meaning how does it relate to your waking world life. But I wanted to share this episode with you all as a source of empowerment, because sometimes we can feel so helpless. Sometimes we can feel so unsupported. Sometimes we can feel really alone in our spiritual evolution and our emotional internal work. And you aren't. You are supporting you. The divine is supporting you. Your ancestors, spirit guides, angels, ancestors, so much support you are receiving that you might not even be aware of and acknowledging, you might not even believe in. But I'm here to say that on a scientific level, your unconscious and subconscious are not necessarily united to your conscious mind. And so just by doing a little bit more analyzing of what's really going on inside of you, you can create more peacefulness within your body, you can create more harmony within your life. The things that you truly want to manifest, desire in the external world can come closer to you because you're a vibrational match to them, and you're also conscious of what things you want to stop doing, what patterns you want to break that are hurting you, and you're moving forward in your most love forward way, less fear based way. I hope that this supported you and moving forward, knowing that you're deeply supported. I'm sending you so much love in the days ahead. If you enjoyed this video, then like it on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and for those listening on audio, a review is so welcome. Sending you so much love in the days ahead. Appreciate you being here.